You can see all the rafters are up. Now we have to fill in that front wall, the 1 foot overhang that I was talking about. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. What I've done is I found where 1 foot comes off of the beam there. And of course that will match the 1 foot down here. And then we'll fill in with the studs that'll have a cut that looks like that, which is the angle of that top plate. So this is just hanging up there from the bottom of the rafters, and we'll just fill in from there. You can see I got the studs installed now, and they're cut at that angle for that wall. And this is that 1 foot bump out to the front of the trailer. So we've now made it to all the different locations as far as the actual dimensions of the trailer or the tiny house. Now I've also installed a top plate under that outside rafter, and that's going to be the top of my wall, and I have to cut all these studs at an angle to fill in this wall. You can also see I've gone ahead and had to stop and install this strap. I've got to start my tie down stuff. I have to kind of slow down with the framing in order to do this, because I've got a stud that goes right up against this wall right here, and I can't bury it where the strap needs to go. So wherever that happens, I've got to slow down. I've got to notch that up there to get a strap over the top. And I like framing, but I don't like to stop and do this. So we're back up on top, and I just wanted to show you that I've done this strapping over the top plate back to the stud. Comes completely over on both sides, and then you see it through the beam down there. Went ahead and installed this hurricane clip to the outside as well, and I've got to install hurricane clips all along here. Same thing over here. So the strap goes over. We're going to strap this thing from top to bottom, be nice and strong, so that when the wind blows it over, it can roll down the road and not come apart. Just kidding. We do want to make it strong. And then maybe if we tie it to the ground, it won't go anywhere. But hurricane comes, we're taking it with us. It's the bug out vehicle, remember? Okay, so now we're getting serious. There's a major hole down right here. See, I'm using these 16D galvy nails into the beam. We're going to do this on both sides of each beam. And then it's through bolted, through the bottom plate, through the flange of the trailer. And man, we got this thing going on. We're moving right along with the framing. I wanted to show you a couple of things. I've got the rafters all installed. I've got both side walls framed. And as you can see up there, I've got 3 2x4s on the flat. And the reason I've done that as a header, and then there's 2 2x4s flat ways above the window. Those are really not load-bearing headers. So normally your header would go in the other direction, up and down. But in this case, the rafters span from that wall to the other wall. That's the true span. But what you do have is side load, wind load here. And so the 2x4 is stronger in that direction. And that's why I've installed them that way. And for that 5 foot opening, I've done it with 3. I'm ready to put the zip panel up on this section here. You can see those tie downs for the beam over the fender. And I went ahead and I cut this back, this 2x4 that stopped right here, and I notched it just a little bit to accept that strap. But I wanted to come on over here with it and tie back in, and you can see I've done that over on the other side as well. I just think that makes for a better detail and kind of ties everything together. The panel will hold it in place also, and that'll be real nice. Now I've gone ahead and done this return with the zip board, and little details that I'm really trying to pay attention to is that this panel actually comes and goes over this panel. So I'm always thinking about going down the road and watershed. Of course, this will be taped and, you know, help protect it as well. And then this panel comes in and goes over this panel, and of course the tape there as well. So moving right along, real excited. It's all shaping up nicely. I'm making good progress installing the zip system panels. And I'm moving from the back to the front because, as I said, I'm just really trying to get it dried in. A couple things I want to tell you. As you can see, I've run the plywood past the openings, including the door, and there's a 3-foot square window there. Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, if you use whole sheets, the whole system is stronger than using a bunch of smaller pieces, even though it's a little bit wasteful, but having that continuous piece helps for strength because of the gluing and the nailing. In addition to that, because I'm trying to keep it dry for the time being, I'm not even going to bother to cut out the window. I've even taped across it for my rain protection, which actually we're expecting some tomorrow. But I want to show you what I've done with these fenders. In construction, we hate flat spots. On windowsills, there would be a little bit of a pitch to a sill, but this is flat. It's a trailer, and I understand that. But we have to take every precaution to make sure that this is flashed properly. So I've got the zip tape that I've run down over the fender, and I've gone from the bottom up, just like you would step flashing, and then I've done the inside corner and the outside corner moving up. And so that's what you see here. And when I install the siding, we'll take more precautions by caulking the seam again as we move forward. Here's that 1-foot bump out I keep talking about. And as you can see, I'm still missing some studs and some corners, inside corner pieces, or studs to complete the corners, which I have to install. But there's actually a king stud that goes right here, and then a corner stud and a block here. So I wanted to go ahead and install my threaded rod hold down while I had a chance to get at it with the drill. And as you can see, I've through bolted this below that flange, and of course it goes all the way up continuous to the double top plate, washer lock nut up there, bolted down. So that's my tie down. I've got another one on the other side, and that holds this whole front section down in terms of wind loading. Those rafters up there still have to have hurricane clips, so you can see how this hold down process works. I still have 2 of the bolts, or the hold down connectors for the beam over the fenders on the back side I have to install, and then I have tie downs again in the back section, and it'll be done just like what you saw on the front. So here's the other side with that 1/2 inch galvanized threaded rod that goes from top plate to bottom plate. But you can also see that I'm missing some framing up here, the return of that 1-foot section. So I got a lot of this little detail work I've got to do to get this thing buttoned up so I can get my fascia and plywood installed on the roof deck and really be done with framing. But it's coming along nicely. Well, I'm just sitting here working along. I got my little buddy, Cody's just sitting there. Hey, Cody, how's it going? Kind of keeping an eye on things.